Krillin, the strongest human, or was he? Well, that is not actually the subject of today's video, but this is. Hello and welcome to History of Dragon Ball. Today we are looking at how Krillin is the most underrated character in all of Dragon Ball. I hope you are all doing very well today, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help the channel reach 10,000 subscribers. So today we are looking at the human Krillin. Krillin is a character who has been around since the beginning. He stuck with Goku through it all and has grown near and dear to most who have watched the show. However, that does not mean that he is always given the amount of respect that it can be argued he deserves. Krillin has been central to so many events that would not have worked out so well if he was not around. So let's go through just some of these moments today and what makes Krillin who he is, and hopefully show everyone how great of a character he truly is. Let us start at the very beginning, all the way back in Dragon Ball, when he and Goku first start their martial arts training with the legendary Master Roshi. At his introduction, he is seen as a fairly sneaky child, pulling fast ones to get the upper hand, but this will eventually change. He doesn't stay as somewhat of a jerk. Something we have to consider is, at the beginning at least, Krillin manages to keep up with a young Goku in all of his training. Nothing comes as easily to him in the same way that it does for Goku. He has to work harder and be smarter to get to that same level that comes oh so naturally to our Saiyan child. Yes, we learn in Z that this is because he is a Saiyan, a part of a warrior race, which, when looking back, just makes it all the more impressive if anything. Of course, when it comes to the World Martial Arts Tournament, he does lose. Several times.
I'm done.
But they are respectable losses in a way. I mean, having your losses be to Master Roshi, Goku, and Piccolo is really nothing to be ashamed of. And this brings me on to the next point, and that is, Krillin is obviously not the strongest character in all of Dragon Ball, but he does possess a respectable power level. And like I briefly brushed over, this means that he needs to be smarter with the way that he battles. And this gets shown several times throughout all of Dragon Ball when he knows his opponents are stronger than he is. In the original Dragon Ball, he realizes that Jackie Chun is perverted just like Master Roshi, so he knows just what to do. He uses women's panties as a distraction technique, which then lets him land a good and powerful kick, which does work, even if it doesn't get him the win. Against Goku then, he has a moment where he uses an unusual technique of inhaling a big breath to slow his fall so that Goku's attack would miss. As well as this, using his head as basically a reflective panel with the sun and trying to blind Goku, almost like a pre-hint at a solar flare technique. And then in Z, when the Z fighters are against Nappa, he introduces his Destructo Disc technique to nearly take him out, a foe much more powerful than him by a clever technique. That is, of course, until Vegeta yells at Nappa to get out of the way. Then also against Vegeta himself, it is Krillin who remembers about Goku's giant ape transformation, so he remembers just how to get him to change back. They must cut off his tail. No one else knew this, or no one else remembered it anyway. And one more from Z just to prove a point here. When fighting Frieza, he is well aware that there is no point in even trying against this tyrant. He is far more powerful than Krillin could dream to be, but that doesn't mean lying down and dying. What it does mean is to use the solar flare technique and live to fight another fight. And by the way, isn't solar flare just the most underrated attack in all of Dragon Ball? Leave me a comment down below of solar flare if you agree with me. Or if you feel something else is, then please leave me a comment of that move instead. But anyway, then even if we fast forward again now to super quickly, when he is sparring with Gohan before the Tournament of Power, you could see how he has lost none of his cunning battle strategies. He can keep up with the son of Goku when he's not taken seriously. If you're going into battle, you could definitely have a much worse man alongside you than Krillin. Krillin also possesses smarts outside of fighting too. Several times he steps up to really help the Z Fighters get to where they need to go. Remember, it was his plan to go to Namek in search of the new Dragon Balls to help bring their friends back, with it also being his idea to use the Saiyans' crashed spaceship to find a way to create their own. He is not a dumb guy. I mean, you could look at someone like Goku. In a battle, he is smart, he has that battle strategy in his head, but put him into everyday life, he isn't quite the same. Krillin, on the other hand, can do it all. Krillin also just appears to be very self-aware of who he is, his capabilities, and how useful he can be. When he is closer to the level of everyone else nearer the beginning, he shows that he can fight. I mean, he did kill 3 out of the 6 Cybermen before fighting Nappa, a lot better than even someone like Piccolo did. He could easily fight countless members of Frieza's army in Super as well, and that was after not having fought at all in a long time. But that didn't mean he would just take the fights that he could win. If it came down to it, he had to put his cards on the table and there was no other way. He would make the ultimate sacrifice as well. I mean, as ultimate as it can be when you do have Dragon Balls around. For example, when Super Buu manages to escape the hyperbolic time chamber, it was Krillin who confronted him so that all the others could get away. He would 100% know in this moment he was not going to make it out of this alive. But if it meant saving the others, if it meant saving his family, he would do what had to be done. For Krillin, it was anything for his family and his friends.
No! Come on!
And that is really now where I come on to my last point. Krillin and his family. A lot of people say Krillin's greatest achievement in all of Dragon Ball is getting with Android 18. And fair play to him for doing that. But you can see how after time, he and 18 are really one hell of a team. Together they really test Goku at a time that their power levels are nowhere close. But as a team, with strategy, they are a different beast. There is also how he becomes a police officer. Normal jobs are not much of a thing in Dragon Ball, but protecting the people, helping all those he can is just in Krillin's blood. So doing that every single day, while supporting his wife and child, just perfectly sums up Krillin as a character. Not a supporting cast member, not just some comic relief, but to those closest to him, a great and underrated character in his own right.
Bigger too! Take this, you possum brain weasel! Oh yeah!
And so there we have it. Krillin's strengths lie far more in his intelligence, more than just his pure strength. His relative power was never what made Krillin so endearing to the fans. It is instead his loyalty to his family and his friends. This is why Krillin is amazing. Every hero needs great people around them, and Krillin is amongst the greatest. You can say whatever you wish about Krillin, but he will always have your back. He may get underestimated by his opponents, and at times he may even underestimate himself. But he will still have your back regardless and be ready to put his life on the line when necessary. That alone makes him a great warrior. Goku is often compared to Superman, and I feel if you're going to make a comparison for Krillin, you would have to say he is like the Batman of Dragon Ball. He is battle smart, life smart, and the kind of person that if you underestimate, it is at your own peril. He may not be as strong as a god, but it is hard to argue there is a stronger human. And at the end of the day, Krillin is a truly underappreciated and underrated character, and he deserves our love.
I'll say.
And so, thank you for spending just some of your time with me today with this video. Please consider hitting that subscribe button so that we can hit that 10,000 subscriber goal, and also give a like on the video as well, as it would be a like for Krillin. And so with that, I will see you next time on History of Dragon Ball.